Welcome back to LinkShadow Talks, where we uncover real stories, expert insights, and bold strategies from the front lines of cybersecurity. And today's topic couldn't be more urgent: the identity security. With attacks growing more personal, more precise, and more AI-powered than ever, the question is no longer if your identity layer will be tested. It's about when this could happen. And to help us break this down, I'm thrilled to be joined by someone who lives and breathes this space. John Hathaway, Vice President for the Middle East, Africa, and APG at BeyondTrust. So, John, a lot of traveling, huh? This is a big region, what you are handling, east to west. And how is it so far for you?
Yeah, I mean, look, I've been working in sales for a very long time and leading BeyondTrust for over 10 years in this region. The development of the team has been incredible, and it's in my blood. I eat, sleep, and breathe it every day. So it's a joy to travel and help everyone around quite a large region.
This is what the job takes, right?
It does.
So that's why we're here. Well, John, before we jump into cybersecurity discussions and we dive into there is a question I wanted to ask you. If someone is planning to steal a house, I'm not saying that because of you're an expert in this area or something. No, it's just a simple question. If someone is planning to steal a house, a thief, what is the first thing he would look after to?
He's going to look for the key, I would imagine, to get through any entrance he can.
Definitely. And this is why I believe today our identities are important as if it is our keys. If someone else has it, they can go everywhere in your house, right? So, and this proves a very important thing, that identity today is being the first attack vector for attackers. And I want to go there to details with you, John. I want to understand more tell us more about the compromised identities that's happening now, how easy it is being happen, and the phishing attacks, the password reusing, all these with the even the power of AI now facilitating this for the attackers. I want to hear it from you. I want to hear your opinion about it.
Yeah, I think they termed 2024 that identity is the new perimeter.
True.
And it's probably a bit of a buzzword you've heard around, but the root cause of many breaches you see around the world starts with, or at least ends with, a privileged credential or the most higher power credential that a bad actor can get their hands on. But you look at certain parts of malware that exist today. There's a piece of malware called info stealers, and its primary and only role is to find either hashes, users, tokens, and all it does is do that stealthily. It's not a piece of ransomware, which is very obvious. It is a phishing attack. It's a drive-by. It's very under the scene, and it takes that credential that it finds right across any organization, which you can imagine is plentiful, and then goes into the dark web to a marketplace to sell to the highest bidder.
True.
So what do they use those credentials for? Anywhere they can get them. And you look at a lot of the well-publicized breaches that you see online, some of the online breaches to the likes of Twitter, LinkedIn, SolarWinds, they all start with a place where these are users that are targeted and user credentials. They take the user credentials wherever they can find them and find a privileged credential and move laterally across an organization. And this is something everyone's heard, that anyone's got an online presence would be wise to protect against.
Definitely, John. And we have been seeing number of attacks and how credentials are being stolen nowadays more than ever, especially with the AI now. And if you heard how many deepfakes videos happened there, can you elaborate on a story or something maybe you heard of handling this part of the attacks, like using AI to attack someone in a very smart way that they couldn't detect it, or even if they detected it, nothing was correlated there.
Yeah, I think when you look at where identity exists in most organizations, it used to be the keys to the kingdom. It used to be in your own data center. But today, when you think about where identities are deployed for most of any type of organization, they go from a data center to the clouds, to machine identities, to service accounts, to cloud entitlement, to endpoints, to even OT, IT type of environments.
True.
And if you're a CISO, I would just love to know how you even sleep at night. And I used to say it when I was directly selling like 5 years ago, put 5 years on that. And the complexity of the job security has to do is huge. Now, add AI into the mix, and you think about what an AI bot or an agent could do, join one type of attack to another type of attack to another type of attack.
True. And we're seeing that. True.
Slowly to be able to just to sit. And we know from a Lockheed Martin type of kill chain, it will normally sit in a place for as long as it can until it can get hold of a credential that's going to give it enough power to do whatever it wants, whether it is a ransomware attack, whether it is a DDoS attack, whether it is whatever attack and whatever data or credential that the bad actors trying to take, it's very hard to tell. So unless you have the ability to identify and detect identity behavior across your organization, it's exceptionally difficult to be quick enough or have enough visibility. Not just visibility, what are you going to do about it once you find that there? Can you move quickly enough to close that door whenever and if you can find it open? It's like piecing so much data together. It's very hard to do that. And without an ITDR integrated solution, I think that's virtually impossible for humans.
I agree 100% with you nowadays. And I've seen a lot of conferences around the world, especially about identity, how important, how hybrid the identity has become these days. Which brings us to another, to be honest, important topic. If you want to build a strong zero trust strategy, identity needs to be in the heart of this strategy. Zero trust, again, we all understand what is the concept behind it. Not to trust anything and to suspect everything and to verify everything. So what can you tell us more about how important is identity security when it comes to a zero trust strategy?
It's not the golden bullet. We don't proclaim in the identity space to control everything, but it is the major component of any zero trust strategy. Should place identity in the middle of it. Go back to those online breaches for some of those big names of Twitter and LinkedIn. How could you have prevented that? You could implement least privilege in your cloud environment or just-in-time access and remove access to any of the credentials. And you look internally and within an organization, whether it's least privilege, whether it is password rotation, whether it is roles-based access, whether that's automated. I have a policy on my most critical assets that's going to rotate every single time it's used or every 30 minutes. We're not going to provide access to passwords to anybody in the organization, privileged certainly. And how do we manage that? And how do we do that manually? It's impossible.
It's impossible for people to do, a human being to do that. Which brings us to a very well-known saying, I'm sure you know it, John, which is you cannot secure what you cannot see, right? And I don't think the saying is enough to close it in this way, but I believe we need to add for it nowadays, especially with all the attacks you just mentioned, that you cannot trust what you cannot verify today. So it is important that you have verifying everything coming to your network, your identities, your data. Is it the behavior? The behavior nowadays is becoming an identity. And you need to understand it. So let me give a small example about this, John. Like you are entering an airport. It doesn't matter what is your name or if the people knows who you are. Every time you enter the airport, you'll be checked again to understand if you are safe to be here. So this is a very simple example why we need to focus in this area and how cybersecurity is nowadays focusing in towards stealing your identity to enter in a legitimate way to any organization. Well, this is very good. Now, we spoke about how important is focusing on identity security and how it is the center of the zero trust strategy. I want to understand what is next from your end, your opinion about what is next, what is coming. I'm sure from your experience, you can now predict what's happening around us and where we are going, John, when it comes to identity security.
Yeah, I think you mentioned the mesh architecture. I think that's a critical part of systems interoperating with each other to provide, behavioral information against exactly what you talk about. If it is, like the AI type of attacks and personality person spoofing, it's crucial that we do that. But the fundamentals also remain in place. It surprises me how many organizations don't look at least privilege across their organization.
Sure.
They believe PASM is enough. They don't look at their cloud environment and security they can get from an ITDR solution that can provide the visibility, context, and response back. They don't look at just-in-time entitlements in their cloud environment. They don't do the basic things like MFA in some cases. And even MFA is not enough sometimes. It's fatigue on it, and how AI helps you get around MFA, which everyone thought was the golden bullet. There must be more, and integrating solutions together. But putting the foundations in place, I don't think they change. I think they become more important in the future than they ever have been before.
And this is why we are promoting for LinkShadow, John, the way we are working from LinkShadow. It's about connecting everyone. It's saying together is better today. With my behavioral intelligence that I work on, with your identity securities and platform connected through a big platform that we are starting calling it nowadays the Cyber Mesh X platform. And why we call this name? Because of Gartner, of course. Gartner started an architecture recently, 2022, talking about a cyber mesh architecture concept, moving from silo approaches towards connectivity between all cybersecurity vendors. So we can relate when identity securities suspect about abnormal behavioral from one area, that data security can be informed about it. Network security can understand if there is any lateral movement happening in that area. If there is any data exfiltration happening from there, started from that person. So having all this context from the beginning can nowadays not just save us, but prevent us from future attacks that might happen to us. Again, this is a very important topic that we need to focus on nowadays. Any last messages you want to share with the viewers today?
Working together with vendors, helping customers to protect themselves against the complex set of adversaries that are out there.
True.
Something we will do and continue to do. Working with other vendors like LinkShadow is part and parcel of the way we go to market, and it's there to help our customers. And
it was our pleasure having you, John, with us here in LinkShadow Talks. And we learned a lot from you, John, today. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
If there is one thing today's discussion made it clear, it's this. Identity is no longer just an access point. It's the front line. And as attackers get smarter and more creative, our defenses must be unified, adaptive, and deeply integrated. That's why partnerships like the one between LinkShadow and BeyondTrust are so critical. Combining behavioral analytics, identity security, and the real-time intelligence into a powerful security fabric. This is what we need today. So thanks to everyone who tuned in. Stay sharp, stay secure, and we'll see you in the next episode of LinkShadow Talks.